Hello. Today I have for you an update to an older MC-Edit filter that I didn't originally write. So I've taken a filter which someone else has written, which I liked the filter. However, it was designed for 1.7 and had a reasonable number of bugs that I thought needed to be fixed, and there was a couple of features that I felt I wanted to add to it. The filter takes a region of space that you can select, and it will turn that into as compact a command as it will possibly make. So we give you an example. The script is called the one command structure spawner, which for me for some reason is right at the very bottom. I'm going to stick this into absolute mode, and I'm going to turn on entities and I'm going to turn on blocks. So what this will do is it will turn this structure into a load of commands which will summon in command block minecarts that are riding each other. So we'll have about 100 command block minecarts in each command, and this will turn this structure into about 8 command blocks, so that those commands can be copied and pasted into a world that you don't have access to and spawned in, so you can generate the structure in any server you like as long as you have access to command blocks. It's quite nice. Instead of making all of that structure, because there's about 500 commands in there, plus a bunch of entities with all MBT data that needs to stay like that, and it's quite difficult to do that. So I'm going to turn on blocks and entities and in absolute mode. These two options here only work when this is in relative mode. I should probably also mention there is a tab for data tags. These will basically remove data tags which are irrelevant. You can untick these if you require them to be like that. So if you had an entity that was on fire and you wanted the entity to remain on fire, you would have to untick this one in order for it to keep the NBT tag relating to whether it's on fire or not. But by default, these will all just be removed. It basically just compacts the commands so that you can fit as many into one command block as possible. Okay, so if I click filter, it will go through this entire selection here, and it'll scan everything, grabbing all the data from all of the blocks, and then finally all the entities, and it will turn that into a schematic, which in absolute mode will copy and paste it to your clipboard, which is up here. If you click on that, you can then paste it wherever you like in the world. In relative mode, it won't do this up here. It will put it one down, one to the side, and one to the side of the box, depending on which direction you specify. So if I paste this in and then go back to the filter, admittedly I've got the wrong selection box selected, but if I go to relative, you can select which direction it is, and it'll stick it one block out, and one block down from the bottom corner of the schematic or the selection you selected. I'm not going to show relative because that's kind of similar to the original script, but yeah, this is the commands that it will be generating. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to delete the old selection and all the entities, and I'm going to save this and I'm going to jump into game just to show you what these can do. Okay, we are now in game. These are the command blocks that the filter generated, and then the structure was there, which I deleted. When you're running this, if you're running this for the first time, I would suggest powering each one of these separately. I'm just kind of being a little impatient because of the video. So if I was to press this button, these will all get powered, a load of minecarts will get spawned, and the structure will get generated. It's as simple as that. If you want to put these in another world, all you would need to do is copy each of the commands, and there's 10, 12 there. There's not that many. It's fairly simple to do. And yeah, if you were to run the structure like this, that will continue working how the original structure was meant to work. I feel like I should probably point out what I've done to the filter. So I've fixed a bug where it was producing unbalanced brackets. I've added support for 1.8 blocks. I've made it so that it places the blocks in increasing Y, because in the original script it placed it from positive Y down to negative Y, which meant that if you had plants, they would get placed before the block below them, which meant they would pop off. I've added entity support so that you can spawn in any entity you like. I've fixed a couple of other bugs, and I've made it overflow. If you select absolute, it will overflow into more than one command block, so that you don't have to select little boxes just to make it fit just under that. I will put a link to the filter in the description, and I'll put a link to the original creator, whose name I'm not going to try and pronounce because I don't actually know his name. That'll be in the description and on screen now. Okay, I think that's about it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.